Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Michele Tafoya podcast. This one's a doozy. Buckle up. All right, as they say, buckle your seatbelt. That's what my husband says to me now whenever our kid takes the mound in his college baseball games. It's like, buckle up. Oh, God, the stress. Anyway, I digress. There is no stress in this one. There might be for you. Some of this is a little distressing, but it's important to acknowledge all the insanity that is going on out in the world about girls' sports in particular. I can't believe we're still discussing this, but we are. And to emphasize the point, I'm going to roll you some video today that you're just not going to, you have to see it to believe it, okay? You got to see it to believe it. Before we do that, in all seriousness, please hit that subscribe button wherever you're watching, YouTube, Rumble. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple, just hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. So it's always there for you in your inbox. Doesn't cost a thing. We'd love to have you on board for every single episode. And without further ado, it seems to me we're starting to normalize stuff. We're starting to accept that stuff is just not fringe anymore, but part of the norm. Let's give you this example of a TikTok influencer who is wishing someone a happy birthday. Now, I have the name of the influencer, and I'll share it with you after we roll it. Maybe you've seen this already. If not, prep yourselves. Roll it, Misty.
Master Dustin, thank you so much for allowing me to be your little sissy bitch, especially on your birthday. I want to wish you the happiest birthday. I want all of TikTok to wish you the happiest birthday with me. And of course, because I'm your little sissy bitch, I want to take your birthday spanks. Please, just like this, Master Dustin. Happy birthday, Master Dustin.
Okay, I was counting the spanks because that's often indicative of the number of years old the person is. And there were 10 there. And if that is the case, that Master Dustin is 10 years old and he's getting this, I hope he's laughing. I hope he understands that this is not real. In other words, that this is not normal. I'd like to know what a sissy bitch is. I'm not clear on that, but this person calls herself Shauna the Maid, a trans queer fetishist social media influencer. In the Hello Kitty outfit there, you got pretending to be the little sissy, well, it says little sissy girl, but he said sissy bitch. So what of this? If men want to present as women, it's weird here because he's presenting as a baby and he's presenting as yet, I guess, queer. And, he's part man, part just dressed up. So he can do whatever he wants. All right. Do we have to show this stuff to kids? Here are my two pillars about this. Leave kids out of it and get men the hell out of women's sports. That's pretty simple. Let's go to this next cut of someone who is very, very confusing to listen to, but I think it's important. Let's roll cut one, Missy.
I will speak loud for those who cannot speak. I'm a proud he, she, they, them, whatever. I am a boyfriend to a beautiful woman. I am a girlfriend to a handsome trans man. And I am also a girlfriend to an incredibly beautiful woman. One of the first things we learn in a healthy family is trust, and unfortunately some parents don't trust their children when they say, "This is me." And they make that decision for them. That may make the child fearful from the people that claim to be trying to protect them.
All right, this is not about parents making the decision for the child. This is about helping guide a child toward a stable, productive life, which may very well be as a trans person. What I found interesting about this person's introduction. I'm a he, she, they, them, whatever, he says. And I'm going to call him a he because he's clearly a man who, by the way, each partner that he listed, he's not monogamous. We know that. They're all biological women. Because if you're a trans man, which he claimed one of his partners was, that is a woman who presents as a man, who identifies as a man. Trans man. The other two he mentioned sounded like biological females. Anyway, this is to come forward and argue that parents are trying to force their kids to be anything but what they are. I'm sure that probably happens. And I'm sure that engenders some mistrust. There is a lot of mistrust between kids and parents at certain times in life because kids think they know everything. Kids think they know how to run their lives, and parents know better. You know why? They've lived more life. I use my tale only as an anecdote. I was anorexic. 13 years old, I dropped about 30 pounds. I was a walking skeleton. I love this. I loved being skinny. Scared the hell out of my parents, who pursued medical interventions. And thank God that they did. And psychological as well. So you can think, I hate my body. I'm going to drop all this weight, turn skeletal to be comfortable. That's not healthy. So parents, and I'm not comparing this to being trans. What I'm suggesting is that the parents are observing the child. The child, by the way, whom the mom gave birth to, and they've raised from infancy to now. They know the child better than any school teacher, principal, administrator, or influencer knows the child. And has more invested and cares more about the child. So it is within the parents' rights to guide their children. And we do have a legal adult age of 18 in this country. So at that point, the kid, the offspring of parents, can do whatever they want. But until then, there's a reason we have family units. And you try taking a child away from its parents, you'll have hell to pay from those parents. Because there is no love like a parent's love. All right. This now gets into the realm where I shake my head constantly about this argument that boys should be allowed to compete against girls. Let's be fundamentally clear. Girls and boys have different chromosomes. Does that make all boys super strong and bigger than girls? No. Does that make some girls bigger and stronger than certain boys? Yes. But on average, and in general, and there is a ton of evidence, not anecdotal, evidence to prove that males generally are taller, stronger, faster than females. And that's why we have two categories of sports. Just like in Pee Wee football, you've got weight categories. Just like in boxing, you've got weight categories. You don't put a lightweight in against a heavyweight, it's no contest. Even though they're both male or both female. So let's get done pretending that this is not real. See, this is what infuriates a lot of people. You're asking us to lie about reality when you try to push these ideas on us. Let's go now to this person who is in public office in the state of Washington and hear her try to convince you of something that simply is not true. Let's roll it.
Female bodies are just as strong, as fast and capable as male bodies. For what reason, other than political gain, are we spending time and taxpayer dollars on a completely made-up issue? There are 8 million high school athletes across the country, and maybe 160 of them are trans. This is the 5th time we are voting on this bill that targets less than 0.002% of high school athletes. I was a 3-sport athlete in high school. Participating in sports gave me the confidence, time management skills, and ability to work collaboratively that led me to run for office. absolutely nothing about having a trans teammate or competitor would have taken those things away from me.
There is so much that is false there. Girls are strong enough and fast enough and capable enough to compete against boys. No, they're not. Let's use Riley Gaines' little example because her husband was a swimmer too, an NCAA Division I swimmer. Riley won championships. Her husband did not. But if the two of them got into the pool and competed lane against lane, her husband beat her every time. She's told me this. She's told plenty of people this. Let's take example number 2, which we all remember. Serena Williams on David Letterman. Letterman suggesting she ought to face off against a guy because she is arguably the best female tennis player of all time. And she said, no way. I'd be toast in 10 minutes. It's a different game. There are plenty of reasons to divide the sport by sex. Now, she also says that, having a trans person participate with her wouldn't have changed it. No, that's fine. No one is saying that trans athletes can't or should not compete. They should compete in their own biological sex division. So a boy identifying as a girl should compete against boys. And a girl identifying as a boy knows she has no shot against the boys, which is why she stays in the girls category. And for her to suggest that this is a tiny little problem, 900 medals, I think it was just in last year alone, that should have been won by women and girls were awarded to biological males. 900. And it's not just the winner we're talking about. It's the person who comes in second and third. They're all bumped down on the podium. All of them. So if you were aiming, you've trained your whole life and I just want to get on the podium. And a boy gets on there instead. Even if you were to take the bronze, a boy gets on there, takes the gold, bumps everybody down. You think that's fair? This woman is delusional to suggest that girls can beat all the boys. It's simply a lie. You're asking us to accept a lie. Oh my gosh. It infuriates me because they're so declarative and think that what they're saying is true when it's so clearly false. Okay, here's something that's not false. All of your health starts in the gut. Did you know that? I mean, we put food in, we eat, we drink, we have water, we intake it. All good health and bad health starts in the gut. So if you're looking to do something better for your health, look no further than Kimchi One from Bright Core Nutrition. Remember that name, Bright Core Nutrition. So this product, Kimchi One, packs all the fermented nutrition of kimchi into convenient capsules, arming your gut with over 900 unique strains of probiotics. It supports gut flora and digestion. Now, I recommend, and I use this product because, like I said, all health starts in the gut. So putting the right fermented superfood in your gut improves every aspect of your health, your skin, your hair, your mental performance. Kimchi has even been shown to reduce your risk of obesity and promote smaller waistlines. Kimchi One is all natural, made in the USA and non-GMO. And today I've got an exclusive offer for you, just for my listeners and viewers, 25% off with code Michele. And remember, it's spelled Michele, just one L in Michele. Go to mybrightcore.com, mybrightcore.com/Michele, Michele. Or you know what? You can even call them and have an opportunity to save up to 50% off your order and get free shipping. Give them a call right now, 888-927-5980, 888-927-5980, and their educated staff will make sure that Kimchi One is right for you. Again, it's 888-927-5980, or go to mybrightcore.com/Michele, Michele, for 25% off. All right, back to the topic at hand. Girls can beat boys? Oh, sure they can. Yeah. So why do we even have Title IX? I want to ask that person. Meanwhile, this is interesting. This happened at Portland State. Now, This is an example of someone trying to speak truth to an audience, and the audience, rather than listening and asking questions civilly and trying to counter with their own points, well, you'll see what the audience does. And this is where we are over topics like this. And this is where the left is. Okay, again, this is Portland State. You'll see this panel discussion. Let's roll it.
James argues, accurately, that there are differences between men and women. This is a strange position to be in, to be arguing for something that is so universally and widely accepted within biology. What is not as widely accepted is that culture is also evolutionary, but I'm going to argue that biology and culture are both evolutionary. Let's look at differences between men and women that are explicitly anatomical and physiological. Are men taller than women on average? Does anyone take offense at that fact? Are you irritated?
There's always a standout.
So I would say you could be irritated by it. You could be irritated by the fact that women have to be the ones to gestate and lactate. You could be irritated by a lot of truths. But taking offense is a response that is rejection of reality. So men and women are different on height. They're different on muscle mass. They're different on where fat is deposited on our bodies, right? Our brains are also different. So they're...
Security! This is what happens. Oh, did they shut off the volume? Can you hear? Can everybody hear?
He's a piece of shit. That is not okay. Even the women in there have been brainwashed.
Should not listen to fascism. It should not be tolerated in civil society. Nazis are not welcome in civil society.
Fuck the police! Cover the people! Thank you.
All right, well, we're going to raise our voices. The conversation's going to go on.
Yes.
Let me be crystal clear. Let me be crystal clear. People do not have the right to tell you what you can and cannot listen to. People do not have the right, fringe elements of society do not have the right to hold you hostage to discourse. This is a university. If we cannot have this conversation here, we can't have it anywhere. We have to be able to talk about it. No issues will solve themselves. That sort of behavior is unacceptable.
Amen. So much there, right? So much. First of all, Nazis are not welcome on campus. So, in other words, declaring facts about sex, biological sex, is Nazism and fascist? I didn't quite make that connection. Anyone else make that connection? Just standing up and saying bye in the middle of a lecture that you disagree with shows how narrow-minded, how closed-minded. I wouldn't even say narrow. Closed-minded you are. Now, this professor at the end says the fringe element cannot stop you from listening to a lecture. God, I hope this is the fringe. We're seeing more and more of it, but that's because there are cameras everywhere. And I wonder sometimes if we are giving too much attention to the fringe element. And that's what's making it seem less fringy and more prevalent. Not mainstream, but a little more prevalent. They get so much attention, right? These few voices, because they're nuts, as we just showed. I commend that group at Portland State for maintaining their composure, for responding really well, and for the people staying and listening. And the woman who said those things about men on average being taller is a fact. She is right. And to suggest otherwise and to deny science is asking us all to play along with a lie that we know is not true. And for millennia has not been true. And yet, for some reason, here we are in 2025, and there's this growing opinion that boys should be able to compete against girls, and that's fair because they weren't successful against the boys category. So might as well come over to the girls, right? And beat them all. Okay. There's more coming. And some of it is going to be encouraging to you. You're going to go, yes, this is happening. Yes, we're going to end this ridiculous article once and for all. Or article or issue. All right. I slept great last night because of Sleep Cream. I urge you to try this product. It's one of the best products I've ever been introduced to and had success with. If you have trouble sleeping, there's this product called Sleep Cream, CREME.com. And it's helped me sleep better. Okay. And you can try it for a couple nights and see if it works for you. And if it doesn't, you can get your money back. No questions asked. You don't have to return the product. So this isn't a drug. It's not a prescription. It's just a cream. And I apply it at bedtime, usually on the insides of my forearms, maybe a little bit on the bottoms of my feet. And I sleep great. I sleep wonderfully. The company Sleep Cream uses an all-natural CBD combined with the finest essential oils. So in addition to getting the CBD, you get this wonderful sort of aroma therapy element to it as well. Again, put it on when you're turning in, and within minutes, I am sleeping really, really well. Like I said, try it for a couple nights. If it doesn't work for you, you can get your money back. And that is a guarantee. You don't have to return anything. Go to sleepcream.com, sleep, CREME.com. And for the next couple months, use the code, actually for the next few weeks, use the code GAMEDAY at checkout, game day, all one term at checkout, and you will get free standard shipping on your first order. That code again is game day. Go to sleepcream.com if you're ready for your best night's sleep. Sleep, CREME.com, code game day. In Colorado, and you've seen Jennifer Say, the former president of Levi's, now the CEO of XXXY Athletics. She's been on this show multiple times. She's kind of blown up in popularity because she was a gymnast. She has been a successful businesswoman, and she has been an advocate for women in women having their own division in sports. She was also really outspoken during COVID about kids not getting back to school. So she's a soldier is what she is. She lives in Colorado, and this happened in Colorado, and she posted this on X about a high school allowing boys to compete against girls. Let's roll this.
Sports teach children important lessons in life, such as teamwork, camaraderie, perseverance, sportsmanship, and respect for everyone. Why anyone would want to take that away from any student is beyond what I can fathom. There is no reason why an 11-year-old transgender girl should be barred from playing on her middle school soccer team when all she wants to do is play a sport that she loves with her friends, or why a transgender freshman girl should be forced to play on the boys' team. Trans people are amazing. And one trans player will not take a struggling basketball team and turn them into the Jordan-era Bulls. Sports is a team game. The rhetoric that trans women are not real women is not only hateful, but is just not true. Trans women are real women, and no man in Washington, nor member of this board, will tell me or any trans person who we are.
No one is trying to tell you who you are. And no one is trying to prevent any child from participating in sports. So you are twisting the issue to fit your agenda. Trans people are amazing. That's fine. So are normal kids. See, and I'm even afraid to use the word normal because someone will say, what do you mean trans people aren't normal? That's not what I mean. Girls, boys, trans, gay, straight, all have the potential to be amazing people. This is not about keeping anyone out of sports. I always go to the example of Caitlyn Jenner and even Martina Navratilova. Martina is gay. She's been openly gay most of her life. You would think maybe she'd be an ally for the trans community, but in this case, she says no. It is completely unfair to have biological males competing against females. You go to Caitlyn Jenner, who used to be Kris Jenner. No. Kris was the wife. Bruce Jenner. Sorry. Bruce Jenner won the decathlon at the Olympic Games. Anyone remember that? Bruce later became Caitlyn. But Bruce won the decathlon. Imagine Bruce Jenner back in the day competing against women. He would have just absolutely trounced every track and field event that there was. Bruce Jenner became Caitlyn Jenner, trans. You would think that Caitlyn Jenner would be all in support of trans athletes competing in the division of their choice. And even Caitlyn has said, no, it's not fair. You would think Caitlyn would be someone who knows, and she is. So no one's saying you can't participate in sports. I hate this twist on this thing. And look, the 11-year-old in middle school, flag football, whatever. We played co-ed games when I was in elementary school, sometimes in middle school. But middle school is when you start preparing for high school. And that's when athletes start to distinguish themselves. And so it's a slippery slope. If you say this little trans girl, which again, let's remind people, is a biological male now identifying as a female, should go ahead and play with 11-year-olds. At what point then do you tell this biological male you're no longer welcome in the girls' division because you're a boy? The other argument, trans women are not real women. This person says they are. No, they're not. They do not menstruate. They do not lactate. They do not gestate a baby. Those are the things that are specifically done biologically by women. So to say they're not real women, oh, they are real women. No, they're not. That's why you put the trans in the word. Trans women. Because they've transitioned from biological male to female. It is so basic. It is so elementary. But here's what these people do, these activists. They try to tug on your heartstrings. Why can't an 11-year-old trans girl, meaning a biological boy who now identifies as a girl, play with the girls? Just play with her friends, excuse me. Because then you start the slippery slope of at what point then do we say no longer fair? And then this pull on the heartstrings of sports make you great. They teach you all these things. That's fine. They teach you that in girls' sports and in boys' sports. You can learn those things in both categories. Stay in your biological category. Otherwise, what you're doing is unfair. How many examples do we need of not only unfairness of it, but the safety risks that girls are exposed to when biological boys are spiking a volleyball in their face or boxing with them? Now, I'm unclear on why some female athletes are thinking that this is okay. But there are some strong female athletes out there who are willing to stand up and actually forfeit games and not participate to say, this is not fair. This is not right. This is, again, you're forcing us to lie about the issue. You want us to play along with something that is not true. Hopefully in California, this belief is taking a stronger footing. This is a California school board meeting. This is cut number 5. Let's roll this for some hope.
California, we're not in federal compliance. And somebody mentioned this back in 2013. It was Governor Brown who approved AB 1266, which allows students to utilize the bathroom and locker rooms of their preferred gender identity and participate in a sex-segregated sport or activity of their choice. Subsequently, the California Interscholastic Federation, or CIF, created bylaws to allow for the same ideology. This is within our subject matter jurisdiction as board members, so it is important. and we are interested in protecting the safety and the privacy of our girls. Here in 2025, we have a boy who recently competed as a girl, securing the triple jump by 40 feet, which was 8 feet past the first runner-up, a biological woman. The point is that the press is saying he's or she's made history, setting the nation's highest mark for a female in the outdoor long jump, and will likely be crowned a state champion. So I'm sorry, but in my mind, this is an absolute travesty, not only for this young woman, but for her family and the years that they put in. Oddly enough, the law's never been challenged until now. AB 89 is an important opportunity for us to say as a district, absolutely, we support this bill and we have every reason to do so. It's not a legal liability. We're not making change on our campus right now. We're standing up for what's right. Local officials have a lot of power to send the message to Sacramento. Sacramento needs to hear from us. I was just recently there. They told us in a school board conference, you make a difference. Every city council and every school board across this state should pass this resolution and support AB 89.
Well done. And it's amazing that something like that takes courage. To speak truth takes courage here in 2025. Like, everyone's so afraid to say it out loud that this is unfair and it's wrong. That biological boy not only knocked off the best performing girl, but like I said, there are other girls knocked off the podium because he was put on. It's an 8-foot margin. Go measure that. Do you know how long 8 feet is? And oh, congratulations, you set a new record for females. No, you haven't, because you're not a female. And people are like, woohoo, cheering this on. No. Why is that person more important than the girl, the biological girl who trained, and the two behind her who should have been on the podium with her? Why are they less important? You want to say, oh, because the trans community is marginalized? Take control then and start a separate category, if you'd like, for trans athletes. Because this is unfair and it's absurd and you all know it. The absurdity is clear. And by the way, let's get to this next cut, which I can't even believe I saw. Hang on. There is a non-invasive way in sports. So whether it's the California Interscholastic Federation or the USOC or the International Olympic Committee, here's how you do it. You take a cheek swab. Just like when I covered the NFL during the COVID season, we took COVID tests minimally twice a week. And 2 nights or the night before the game or 2 nights before the game, we had to go in this big room and get a COVID test in front of everyone. And you had to wait for your result and you had to hope and pray that you were negative so you could work the game. That was invasive, but we all did it. And that was stick a thing way up your nose and choke. And this is a cheek swab that can be taken to determine whether you're male or female biologically. Not how you're identifying, biologically, which is the basis and the nexus for this fairness in sport. But did you know that requiring that cheek swab is akin to Nazism? Watch this number 6. Roll it.
Ethnic cleansing, that's what this is. Just like wartime, where you had to queue up and prove that you were pure enough to be able to live. And now we have to queue up and have a test to see whether we're female enough to take part in female sports. Absolutely disgusting behaviour.
Absolutely disgusting? Ethnic cleansing is what this is like? No one's dying here, woman. This is about fairness in competition. I mean, that's absolute lunacy and absurdity. I hope it's very clear to people that but how did she feel about the COVID test where we all lined up and had to take COVID test? Did anyone remember getting in a car and having to drive through a COVID line? And it was like going through a bank line, and someone would come up and they'd be all masked up in hazmat suits and they'd swab you way the hell up your nose. This is a cheek swab. And it isn't life or death. This is, can you compete and in what division? That is lunacy. I'm grateful for it because I hope it exposes how idiotic this issue is. It is the height of absurdity, and it's 2025. So I'm going to recommend, if you agree with me, be brave and do good and get out there with it and support this issue, meaning support biological girls and their hard-fought privilege and right to compete against one another to determine who is the girl in California with the longest long jump. Not the guy who jumped 8 feet past her. I mean, seriously? Really? That's acceptable? Like I said, be brave, do good, support the message, and we'll see you next time. Hey, you can keep up with the Trump administration when you subscribe to the Trump Report. It's an email that brings you daily highlights from the Oval Office right to your inbox 5 days a week. Subscribe today at SalemPodcastNetwork.com/Trump.